Kieran Reese, otherwise known as the Obsessed Compulsive Gamer, and I'm here playing more of a Silent Hill 2 remake. Hopefully I'm live. I'm live. Okay. I'm back playing Silent Hill 2 remake. Again. Because they did a massive patch. They fixed it on PS5 Pro, which doesn't matter to me because I don't have one, but will matter for a lot of people who got it on Pro and were pissed off that it looked worse. But they also added a lot of improvements to the game and just to make the actual overall game better. And I'm really excited for that. Hmm. Hello, Mary. I'm so happy to see you, Mary. Just so happy to see you, Mary. I still think it's funny. The name of the chick in Silent Hill is Mary. Could you be in that town, Mary? Hey, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you. And you guys should like, comment, subscribe because I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers to make YouTube partner. Let's do this. Okay.
Could you really be in this town?
Yep. Game just started. Yeah. Oh, if you're saying like what's happening with me, it's just playing the game, just chilling.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did. Well, I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you.
$80. I got the deluxe edition at launch.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place. Could Mary really be here? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
And let me turn up some of the sensitivity. That's right, I gotta alter the controls. I fucking forgot about that. At least they let you fucking customize the controls, because, like, they have the map up on the D-pad, and that just fucks me up, you know? And we have sprint as L1. Also, like, what the fuck? Okay, so the map is the touchpad. Inventory's up. Sprint is on the left stick, because, I mean, that's like the standard fucking, you know. Looking for dodge to L1. Allows me to keep my hand on the trigger. Reload square. Quick turn is R1. Okay, that should be good. There's actually some I missed, too. I'm just now seeing... Oh, if I can open the fucking door. On the wall right there, there are posters for Heaven's Night, the nightclub from later. You still there, Mary? Or did you vanish on me?
It's like someone's groping around my skull. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah, looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But... I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog, either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
But why?
I'm looking for... someone. Someone very important to me.
Me too. I'm looking for my mama. I mean, my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I'm sorry, it's not your problem.
No, I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too.
I'm not really sure what you mean when you say what's going on with here, like...
Did you want anything else?
No, it's just... this fog. Does it seem unsettling to you?
I guess. It's just through the gate and down the path. You'll get there in no time. Good luck finding the one you're looking for.
Yeah, I should probably get going.
I love the atmosphere of this game so much. I wish you could go in this church. Although that's more of a small complaint. You couldn't really go into this place either. Ah, shit. Forgot to get the map from the car. I was like, why can't I pull out the map? It's like, oh, that's why. I bet they had a photo mode to this game in a patch. This is a game that would really benefit from it. Especially because they've put, like, Easter eggs and shit that you can only see with, like, the debug mode on PC. So if they had a photo mode, people on console could see it as well. Okay, now I can continue on my way.
Hello? Anyone in here?
Well, that's cool. Well, make sure it's not a scammer. Okay. It's like, if they tell you to give them your social security number and your mother's maiden name, don't do it. Mr. Cassandra, a customer came in today, or I'm sorry, Mrs. Cassandra. A customer came in today, ordered a mixed bouquet, red and white. I tried to explain it's bad luck. He wouldn't listen. I'm sorry, let me... Mrs. Cassandra, a customer came in today, ordered a mixed bouquet, red and white. I tried to explain it's bad luck, but he wouldn't decide on just one. He seemed a bit off, looked at me like I wasn't even there. Then he just left and said he'd be back to pick him up later. I just wanted to let you know, since I might be gone by then. I was wondering what the fuck flower shops do, like, in the winter. Do they just shut down, or...
What is this?
Are they able to like get flowers out of season? Like I don't know. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, and you know, actually, you just said you got $40 in Xbox gift points. They just, for a lot of people, dropped the Black Friday sale, so I would check the deals on the Xbox store, Mary. You got $40 at, like, the best time, honestly. You probably get something pretty cool.
Hey, wait.
Well, I mean, you can only use it on Xbox, so just get some on Xbox, you know what I mean? Like, that's money. It's not like you're choosing to spend the money on PlayStation instead of Xbox, you know what I mean? You're not getting... You're not taking money you would have spent on PlayStation and Xbox. You're just got some money for Xbox, so just more on top of what you already got.
Hello?
I will say something like I think is funny, and it's just a minor complaint, but it's like there's been this whole fucking discourse in games. Yeah, there's this whole fucking discourse on games with yellow paint. You know, where like games will like mark where you're supposed to go, what you can interact with blatant like stuff. And it's become a heavy discourse because some people say, you know, well, it's just there to help people out. And other people are like, well, the game should respect the player's intelligence. And they brought up the yellow paint thing with this game. And, oh, nope. Even, oh, hey, Alex, it's good to see you, man. They brought up the yellow paint thing in regards to this game. And I thought it was funny even in the interview because like they were having a developer interview and they asked him about the yellow paint. He's like, well, we're not going to have yellow paint or anything like that. He's like, but we will have white fabric placed on parts of the environment to show you where to go. And I'm like, dog, that's the same fucking thing. Like, I mean... If you want to have just like stuff in the game to indicate where you can and can't go, totally fine. Okay? But when they're talking about yellow paint, they don't literally mean the fact that it's yellow. They're talking about stuff that's deliberately put there to signpost everything the player can interact with. And the question of whether games need that level of hand-holding. So, like, the white fabric is, in a sense, fucking yellow paint. And it's just kind of funny because he's like, no, we don't have yellow paint, we have white fabric. And like you just described, the same thing, dog. And like I said, it doesn't bother me. I think it's helpful to show what you can and can't interact with. Otherwise, you're going to be walking around, you know, just mashing X. It's just funny because it's like, we don't have this, we have this. So that was funny. But they just patched this game and they made a bunch of improvements to it. And I already really enjoyed the game as is, so... And they changed the save menu. Now it goes from... Your old save to your new save goes from bottom to top before it went top to bottom. Okay, well, you know. Yeah, they were already working on it, apparently. They already said they're going to keep working on it, so... Oh, shit, also, Alex, I meant to tell you, and I forgot. Apparently, Stalker 2 is coming to PlayStation, and it's coming to PlayStation a lot sooner than people thought. Turns out the exclusivity window is only 3 months, and it will be on PS5. In February, like the leaked document showed, which is kind of crazy because, like, it's kind of Microsoft fumbling the bag, not gonna lie. Because they fucking, like, I'm happy that it's gonna come to PlayStation, of course, because I prefer PlayStation. That's where I have the good streaming and video software, so I can make footage and edit into videos. But, like, Microsoft funded a large portion of Stalker 2, if not the whole thing. And then they're just going to let it go to their competitor in 3 months? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely happy that more people get the chance to play it, but it's like, I'm just saying, like, from Microsoft's perspective, I just can't understand that, you know? Like, it's not like they gave them a little bit of money for exclusivity, because they'll do that, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, here, we'll throw you a bone if you release first on us. Microsoft funded Stalker 2, so the fact that they would let a game they completely funded appear on their competitor's system after only 3 months, just, it doesn't make sense to me from like a business sense, right? Like at least a year, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not even fucking 6 months. You know, and it's like I said, it's not like they gave them a little bit of money. Microsoft basically funded Stalker 2. So I find that kind of wild that they would allow it to go to their competitor, you know? Because I'm just saying, like, of course I'm glad that it's coming to PlayStation, but I'm saying, like, if I'm a business person and I give you millions and millions of dollars, because I imagine Stalker 2 wasn't cheap to make a game for my company, it's going to be exclusive for my system, like, forever. That's just how I would do things. And it's like, you know, that's how Sony would fucking do things. Obviously, Silent Hill 2 Remake doesn't count. I'm pretty sure it has a year exclusivity, but that's Konami, so it's not technically, you know, Sony funded. That's what I mean. Like, Sony paid them money to make Silent Hill 2 an exclusive, but they didn't fund the production of Silent Hill 2. Well, maybe, but I'm still saying, like, we know Microsoft funded the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if Sony passed them a check, I'm just saying, like, okay, here's how I put it, Alex. If you have a bunch of money and you give millions of dollars to a game company to make a game for you, for your system, would you want that game to be on your competitor's system in 3 months? Odds are you would probably say, fuck no, I paid for this game to be made. You're not going to go to my enemy. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying from a business standpoint, it's just like, doesn't make sense. Like, I'm glad it's happening, that more people can play it, and I'll be able to get it on PlayStation and stream it, but I'm just like, I'm trying to think, like, it seems like a shitty business choice.
Is this what I saw before? Whatever it is, it's not human.
I also like how it gets... Yeah, no, it did. Yeah, you're right about that. Especially, you know, it had a big budget, but not a huge budget. You know what I mean? I would say it's mid-tier. So yeah, that is true. It did pretty awesome. You know, it was already selling 1 million copies. Yeah, I love this. It's just like, yeah, this is what I want to heal me with. Rusty fucking needle. Oh, man. I understand you gotta do what you gotta do, but goddamn. Yeah. I don't know if you saw it. I sent it in the group, but you might not have seen it. But somebody made a funny comic. Somebody made a funny comic about that. James is sitting there, and he sees the first enemy walk in the fog, because, you know, like, they show you the enemy in the fog, and he's like, oh, what is that? And he goes, gross. And then they show James looking down at a needle, and he puts it in his arm. So he's like, oh my god, that enemy is gross. Uses a dirty needle. I thought that was hilarious. Honestly, that being said, though, yeah, exactly. The fucking champ. HIV, not a problem. Hep C, no worries. It's like, James, how the fuck are you doing this? He sits there and he's like, I drink a lot of vitamin C. What do you mean, I drink a lot of vitamin C? Like, that doesn't... I drink a lot of vitamin C. Okay? Oh, you wanna know something that's fucking crazy? That's gonna blow your mind? Almost all of the dead bodies that you find like this in Silent Hill 2, in the original and the remake, are James. They're his model. And, like, now that I've said that, you can see it, but you wouldn't really pay attention to that before. Now, and I'll tell you something even crazier. That is, kind of trippy. They kind of implied in Silent Hill 2, in the original, that James is stuck in a loop, that he's stuck in a time loop, that he keeps coming to Silent Hill and not learning from his mistakes and repeating the cycle. Like, this is a trip that he's made over and over again. They reference it in notes, but they never really confirmed it. But there's actually a hidden message that you can find in this game that's fucking crazy. One of the collectibles in this game are the strange photos. They're just photos that say, like, stuff. And the thought process is that Mary took them. Like, the Polaroids that she took. Well, there's markings on the back and numbers, okay? People actually found out that the markings and the numbers form a secret code. And this is something I didn't even know. This just come out recently. Because this wasn't in the original game. The photos weren't the code. If you use and take the letters from all of the code and put it together, it says, you've been here for 2 decades. Pretty much confirming from the developers that James is basically stuck in a time loop in his own hell. That he just keeps repeating this shit over and over and over again. And the developers even straight up came out and said, Oh god, we're all clowning on Steph, man. Oh shit, even Alex is getting in on it. Oh man. You will be cursed, Steph, to be cooked for all time. Oh man. And you know, I don't even really feel bad about clowning Steph either, because he started it by fucking me over. I never clowned him like this until he did that, so. And, in all fairness, I'm not talking behind his back either. Yeah, exactly. He's been stuck here for 20 fucking years. Repeating the same shit over and over and over and over again. And they actually also kind of make it seem like the game's new ending, this game originally had a bunch of endings, the remake adds some new endings, is him recognizing he's in a loop and ending it. Because in this game, there's 3 main endings that you can get. There's Leave, which is where he leaves with Laura, little girl. He takes her, he decides to live. There's Maria, which is where he decides to go with Maria, but she's like basically a manifestation of his wife, so she gets sick again. So implying that the whole cycle is going to start all over again, because if you're not aware, James is the one that killed his wife. That's the whole big plot twist in Silent Hill. James killed his wife. And it's not cold-blooded murder. She was sick. She had a terminal illness. And she had repeatedly asked him to put her out of her misery, but she'd also, would berate him. They go over it at the end of the game, that she would berate him and take out all of her frustration and dying on him because she had a very painful disease. They never tell you exactly what she had, but it was some kind of really bad cancer or something like that, some kind of terminal disease. And she even says that she was in constant pain and she would take it out on James. So he would come to see her and she would just fucking lay into him. You're worthless. So she came home on hospice care, and she only had a couple weeks left to live anyway, because she was spent 3 years slowly dying. And she begged James to kill her, but he was incredibly conflicted over it. So when he killed her, he snapped. He suffocated her with a pillow, and his fucking mind broke. And that's when he got a call to the town, because the town calls the people to help them face their personal demons. All the people that you see in this game are going through their own emotional trauma. Eddie was bullied. Laura is missing Mary. Angela was raped by her father and her brother, and her mother turned a blind eye to it. They're all dealing with serious mental trauma, and the town helps them work through it. It makes you face your fears. Everybody in the town sees the monsters, but the monsters they see are different. So the monsters are a manifestation of James, his fears, his subconscious, and you can even research it in the lore, and it's really cool because all of them come from stuff like his fear of her in the hospital. And this really goes into his mental state because during the entire time that she was sick, he wasn't fucking her because she was not well, and he was a faithful husband, but he basically went 3 years without sex, and it really fucked with his head because he wanted sex, but he felt guilty about asking her for sex, and it was repressed. So if you pay attention, a lot of the stuff in this game has sexual overtones that's not in the other Silent Hill games, because the sexual shit, the repression of his sexual urges, and the guilt over feeling them is part of his mental trauma. So, for example, and this is why this is a pet peeve of people, is the nurses are in almost every Silent Hill game, but only in Silent Hill 2 are they sexualized. They have big busty boobs because it represents James' repressed sexual desires. But when they did the movie, when they did future games, not from the original Silent Hill developers, they started making all of the nurses have sexualized appearances in every other game, even though it only makes sense in this game, okay? In Silent Hill 1, there are nurses, they're not sexualized, they're just in a regular nursing uniform. In 3, they're not sexualized because Heather, they didn't just make the nurses in this game busty, and wearing heels just to like, oh, look for sex appeal. It's literally because it's the town taunting him. It's part of his repressed shit. And like people who made later sequels to this didn't fucking get that. Yeah, and this is one of the references to Silent Hill 1, which is cool. I'll say that in a second. So, this game has so many layers because James killed his wife, but he didn't do it out of, like, hatred. He did it out of love because she was dying, but then he also did, admittedly, part of him wanted her dead. Because, like I said, she was sick, and she took out her hatred on him. So it's like she was his wife, and like every time she see him, and you can even hear one of the conversations they have towards the end of the game, where she's just like, "What are you still doing here? Didn't I tell you to leave? Go!" And fucking screams at him. She's like, "I don't need you here." And then she calms down and she's like, "Don't leave me, James." She's like, "Tell me I'm gonna be okay. Tell me I'm not gonna die." She's like, "I'm scared." Like they really go through the fucked up like shit in his head. And that this is basically like his own personal hell. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, oh yeah, no, for sure, tons, dude. Like, man, if you only knew how toxic. If we're talking about theming of the game, yeah, there's lots of real world stuff. If we're talking about fucking development issues, yeah, there were people who were Bible thumping over this game, like it'll corrupt the children, even though every single Silent Hill game has been rated M. So you know, like if the game is rated M, you can't say it could corrupt your children because legally your children aren't even supposed to be able to play it. It's the same thing. It pissed me off with GTA. They're like, GTA 5 corrupts my children. And it's like, okay, Susie, who bought GTA 5 for your kids? Because they didn't buy it. Your 12-year-old did not buy fucking GTA 5 at GameStop. They did not. Okay? You know, I couldn't get a fucking M-rated game that I had my parents come with me, okay, when I was a teenager. And they have since tightened up even harder, okay? Like GameStop, one of the things I will say that's good about GameStop, you know, I fucking hate GameStop. I've had so many horror story experiences. But one thing I will say that's good about them is if you try to buy an M-rated game for your kid, I've seen them do it. The cashier will say, hey, this game is rated M. I just want to make sure it's okay for you to get, your kid to get. And they will tell you the game has this, and read off the fucking label. Okay? So if you buy a fucking M-rated game for your kid, that is not the game perverting your kid. That is your fucking parenting decisions. You know? So, like, the whole thing, like, especially Grand Theft Auto, because it's, you know, but that's the big one. With Grand Theft Auto Mortal Kombat, they're like, they're perverting our kids. They were never made for your kids, bitch. You decided to let your kid play them. They were never marketed for kids. And that's why, like, over and over and over again, people like Jack Thompson, he had a real fucking boner. You know, starting with GTA 3, he sued Rockstar repeatedly, saying they were hurting the little children, all that shit. They were hurting little children, you know. I don't know if you know Jack Thompson, but he was infamous because he sued Rockstar like 20 times. Like, he was constantly suing Rockstar back in the day. GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, like, he made it his mission in life to try and ruin Rockstar. He was a fucking prick. And he took them to court endlessly, and every single time the court turned him down because they said, dude, this game is not made for children. This game is not marketed for children. You cannot find one instance of GTA 5 being marketed to children. Okay? Sure, there are children that have bought and played GTA 5, but it wasn't marketed to them. And they had to have their parents buy it. That's on their parents. That's not on Rockstar. It's fucking rated M. And that's why, like, the whole, like, games are gonna pervert our youth thing. There are plenty of games that are age appropriate. You do not have to fucking have your kid play GTA 5. You don't. You do not. So that whole thing is always pissing off. But so there were people Bible thumping for this game as well. You know, saying, oh, it's going to pervert the youth, even though these are very adult graphic horror games made for adults by adults. And then, you know, the people trying to censor them and all kinds of shit like that. Weird, just... Yeah, see, there you go. And many of these people who say that shit, right? Who are just like, oh, it's gonna pervert the youth. They're trying to excuse their shitty fucking parenting. Okay? You are in control of what your kid watches. You're in control of what your kid does. You're the fucking parent. You know, and so it's like they're trying to blame fucking Rockstar for their bad parenting decision. Hey, don't let them buy the fucking M-rated game if you don't want them to play M-rated games. If you don't want them to see M-rated shit. I was just a little bit different. I've always had, like, I was really intelligent as a kid. You know, where did it go? I was really intelligent as a kid. I was something of a prodigy. I had really high grades. I was in advanced classes. So I was always, like, above my age group. So I did gravitate towards M-rated games. But my parents knew that I was going towards M-rated games. I got their opinion. And, you know, they never tried to blame Rockstar because they knew, like, if I got M-rated games, it's because they said I fucking could. You know what I mean? And so, like, I have literally seen a person go to get their kid a copy of GTA 5. And at GameStop, because I used to go to GameStop all the time, the cashier will say, is it okay for them to get this game? And he'll list it's got drugs, sex, you know, all the good stuff. And they're like, sure. And then I saw that same mom and kid come back and she's like, well, this game was too graphic for my kid. It's like, dog, the cashier took you aside and ran you through the list. You knew. What did you think that they had it rated M for sex, drugs, violence on there for shits and giggles? Did you just not listen to the cashier? Yeah, it's crazy. So, you know, it's crazy how that shit goes. But it's not, you know, I don't pay it any mind. Those people, most of the people who are complaining about that don't even play fucking games to begin with. Yeah, this is a really cool article that ties into the original Silent Hill. In March of 1965, the town of Silent Hill was visited by the Maine Psychological Research Association. And yeah, fun fact, this game is the first game to confirm where Silent Hill is set. People always thought that this game was in Pittsburgh or Maine or Michigan or something like that, but they couldn't confirm it. This game, which was made with the original director's input, says Maine. They've confirmed that this Silent Hill is in Maine. Which I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but for fans who always wondered where it was a big deal to finally have confirmation of that. After thorough examination, a team of expert dowsers from the association concluded the area surrounding the now historic Wilkes coal mine to be highly active. They also expressed their hopes for further research and exploration of the gorge. Those hopes, however, were never fulfilled due to the location being restricted as a historic nature preserve, as declared by the Silent Hill Historical Society. Additionally, the idea was met with resistance from the local community, which claimed that the nature of the association's research would hinder tourist activity in the area. Questioning the credibility of our research and hiding behind day trippers seems an excuse to prevent us from seeing what's really out there, commented one of the researchers. Unfortunately, none of the local representatives were available to comment on the matter. Editor's note. At the time of publishing, there exists no evidence supporting credibility of radiothesia or proving effectiveness of any dowsing methods. Opinion expressed in the article do not reflect the author's views. And see, what's funny is they're right. It seems like, oh, they're a bunch of paranormal schizos. But in this game, Silent Hill became this way because of occult rituals that were fucking held here. And the coal mine is one of the areas that they did, and they mentioned that in Silent Hill 1. So when they're saying, well, you can't go into the coal mine because it's a nature preserve, that's the cult of Silent Hill, which is the Historical Society, keeping them from one of their occult sites. And so it's a clever nod to Silent Hill 1, because if you just played in Silent Hill 2, you wouldn't know that. But if you played Silent Hill 1, you're like, oh, that's the coal mine that was all fucked up there. Yeah, it's a reference to the first game. That's right. That's what I mean about Silent Hill 2, where it's you don't have to play the other games, but you'll get a lot more lore if you do. Like, the actual plot of 2 is standalone. You don't need to play the first game to understand what's going on with James and Mary and all that, but it is good for references. Yeah, thought you were gonna come in here and fucking sneak up on me, didn't you, motherfucker? Get fucked. Just all kinds of cool stuff like that I really appreciate. This game has so many like cool little touches that I really like, just really appreciate. Like the fact that, you know, like James, he actually gets his outfit will get dirtier as the game progresses, and he will actually look physically tired because by the end of this game. Hold on a second. Fucking bugs trying to get in my drink. Gotta make sure they didn't get in my drink. We have fucking flies. Super annoying. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, it's like I can't even leave anything unattended for 15 fucking seconds. Oh, shit. Fucking monster trying to sneak up on me. Little fucking asshole. Yeah, okay, I was able to get the fly out of there and spit it out. That's why you heard me spitting just now. I'm not gonna throw away my drink, though. I just got this drink. So, in the event of this game, he's basically up for a day and a half without sleep. So, like, by the end of the game, he actually has, his clothes are all ragged and torn, and his, he looks super tired. Like, you can see tons of bags under his eyes. Actually. Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. We're all just fucking going in on stuff. Well, that's what you get for fucking shitting on the people that care about you. And I always turn off the low health vignette. I forgot to, because I restarted. Because you don't need it. Like, as he gets lower and lower on health, you see it on his clothes, he gets more bloody, and you see it in the controller. The light in the controller changes, so I don't need like a big red glow to the screen on top of which I can see it in the controller on his fucking clothes. You know what I mean? Just seems excessive. I also love the fact that you can actually smash windows in cars, and there's hidden items. Or that after you wound these fuckers and they crawl away, they'll actually leave a blood trail. Like, you can actually find handgun ammo here. And this is well before you get the handgun, which I thought was a nice touch. I totally missed it the first time I played this game. Or even stuff like, you know, like when he's low in health, he'll limp and get progressively more like haggard. That was not in the original game. You'd have to check the menu to see what your health was. And I like this a lot better because you're gonna have, and that's what I mean, like, I don't need a red glow around the screen. By the time you get low in health, he's covered in blood, he's limping, and the controller light is red. Like, I don't need a fourth indicator. Hell, like, right before you die, you actually will feel your heartbeat in the controller, so the game even gives you a vibration. All it took to get back to peak health was one rusty needle. Good as new. I've got HIV now, but good as new. Oh, no, you don't. Fuck you. I also respect the fuck out of this game for not having to have a monster every 5 seconds. There's good stretches of this game where they just let you take in the atmosphere. That's a sign of good horror, when they don't have to constantly fucking have horror. I know it seems counterintuitive, but if you're constantly going at full blast horror, you become desensitized to it. They need lulls. The janitor came in the other day, drunk and in tears, had half a record with him, kept yelling we gotta fix it somehow. I was willing to do it just to shut him up, so I got up to get the glue from the cabinet, but then he realized he only had the one half, so he ran out. Couldn't do much about the record. Maybe ask around at Neely's next time you're there. It might be one of theirs. Oh, okay. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. That was one thing that pissed me off in the first Stalker, at least, was it seemed like there was just like you were constantly getting attacked 24/7. Like, it's like, how many fucking wild mutant dogs are there? 50? It's like, give me a fucking break. Like, you don't, like I said, it seems counterintuitive. Well, it's a horror game, we should have horror, but if you have it all the time, it loses its meaning, you know what I mean? You need to have quiet moments to make the loud moments really stick out. Otherwise, it all starts to blend together, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Horror is just about horror is as much about what's not happening as what is happening. And Stalker is not technically horror, but it has strong horror elements. Like, I wouldn't call it horror per se, but I definitely would call it horror adjacent. You know what I mean? It definitely does have elements of horror, and you do have to, at least in the original Stalker, have to conserve ammunition. I can't imagine Stalker 2 just showers you in resources. What are they? I shouldn't go through. I don't know why. I won't. They don't sting, but it feels like they do. No smell at all. The door that wakes in darkness. Opening into nightmares. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that is that right there, Alex, is a heavy fundamental of horror games. Conserve ammunition, go for the weak spots. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you get into an abandoned research facility, and you're looking around in the dark with a flashlight. There are parts of Stalker that are really horror. I wouldn't fully say that it's horror, but it's definitely horror adjacent. And the fact that you like Stalker so much, I think you might want to give more horror games a try. I'm also really looking forward to this company's next game, Bloober Team, Kronos, the New Dawn. I mentioned that before. It's going to be set in like futuristic 1980s Poland, like sci-fi, where like the timeline is breaking down. They've got to fix it. It looks fucking dope as shit, and it's a super unique setting. I can't even think of any horror game that's set in Poland. Yeah. No, that's fair. Like Resident Evil, dude. You know, the older Resident Evil games, the gunplay isn't amazing. Not that the gunplay is meant to be, but the modern Resident Evil games, the gunplay is really good. Like Resident Evil 7 is a first-person shooter, dude. 7 and 8 are both first-person, so the shooting is good. And that's why I thought you would like 7 and 8. And like I said, they're pretty much self-contained. You know what I mean? They have references. No, I understand that for sure. I get you there, man. My backlog is fucking overflowing. There's references, but 7 was intended to be a new start for the series, you know what I mean? So you don't have to know the other games, and 8 just expects for you to have played 7. And you know what? I was talking to... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to... I mean, obviously there are references. You know, you're going to appreciate it more if you play the other games. But you don't have to. It's a new character. Ethan. You know what I mean? A new type of bad guy, a new virus. So it's not anything... You know what I mean? You can just hop into it. And 7 is honestly one of the best anyway. 7 single-handedly brought the series back from the dead, and it came at a time when it was like right after Resident Evil 6, which was infamous for basically being more of a Call of Duty game than a fucking horror game. 6 is a good game in its own right, but it's a terrible Resident Evil game, and so like it really pissed off the fan base. I mean, understandably so. 7, they went in with the goal, we've got to make this as scary as possible. Yeah, well, like I said, 6 is not terrible on its own, man. I like 6 as an action game. But you have to understand that people buying a Resident Evil game expect the Resident Evil game. Like, it's not a bad game at all. It's just, you know... It would be like if they put Stalker 3 in America, in a non-irradiated part of the world. You as a Stalker fan would be like, what the fuck is this? Like, it could even be a good game. It could even be a great game, but because it's a Stalker game that's not set, you know, in Ukraine, you just be like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Resident Evil 6, like, it's a good third-person shooter. It's just not a good Resident Evil game, and they didn't properly convey that. Okay, that's another reason why the vitriol for 6 is so bad, because they usually don't show a lot of Resident Evil games. Understandably, they don't want to ruin the story, they don't want to ruin the scares. So people didn't see enough gameplay of it to know that it was not going to be a horror game. When they played it, they thought it was going to be a horror game, and then imagine the surprise, oh, I just paid $60 for this, thinking it's a horror game, and it's not. They'd be pissed. Yeah, I love this. Feel the craving? You just can't help it? Go for it! Happy Burger! What you need is what you get. On the run, grab some to go at Happy Burger. I prefer Sad Burger, or Melancholic Burger, or Wistful Burger. Stoic Burger. Yeah, I'm not really a stoic kind of person. My dad is real stoic. He practices stoicism. I'm not. I'm like my mother. My mother is a very passionate person. I feel very deeply. I'm a very intense person. I either do something 0% or 1,000,000%. You know what I mean? I don't half-ass something. I don't do something a little bit. I do it to the fucking extreme, or I don't do it at all. So I'm a very intense person. Some people don't like that. They think I'm too intense. Other people, that's why they like me, so... But I get really happy, I get really sad, get really mad. You know, I feel deeply. I've tried to turn it off, you know, to be more reserved, and I just can't. It's not who I am. Yeah, well, I hope with the, you know, you enjoy having conversations with me. Otherwise, it's like you spent fucking almost 2 years now having conversations with me. You will see, sooner or later, you will see. I just like, when I was dating people in the past, they like, you're so intense. Checked from 000 to 4013. Took almost 2 hours, had to run. Checked from 414 to 44039. Had to run again. I feel like I'm so close now. I just know it. Yeah, it's like an optional code you can get to unlock a cache. I think it's 446 or 440. Yeah. Well, Yeah, it's a code. It's a 4-button dial. It's a grocery store that has supplies. The guy didn't know the number, so he just sat there trying every single combination, and then he unfortunately died before he could get it. See, if you look closely, you can see that's James too. His head's covered, but you can see it's his jacket. Yeah. Yeah, there's tons of those side stories in this game, man. That's what I'm saying. And oh yeah, fuck, I meant to say that and then I got interrupted. I got like interrupted from my train of thought. It's my fault. I'm really pissed at the fact that this game wasn't even fucking nominated for the Game Awards. Like as a game, okay? I understand it probably wasn't gonna win. It's a horror game. Horror games often get snubbed at award shows, and horror games don't get a lot of recognition with critics. Horror movies, horror games, horror books, they seem to be snobbed by critics for some reason. Don't ask me why. Like, throughout history, they've been snobbed by critics. But, like, so I never expected it to win. Obviously, it's going to be the popular choice, like, most likely Baldur's Gate 3. That's what I think is going to win, is Baldur's Gate 3. But, this game should at least be on the fucking docket. The fact that this game wasn't even nominated blows my mind and actually kind of pisses me off. Okay, this is without a doubt the biggest horror game of the year, which is a big genre. And on top of which, this is also probably the underdog game of the year. Nobody expected this game to be as good as it was. I did. Yeah, that is true. I expected this game was going to be good, but I was one of the few people who had faith in this game. Most fans thought this game was going to be trash. Okay? So this game kind of came out of nowhere and surprised everybody with how good it was. So, not only is it the biggest horror game of the year, but it's, honestly, I would say probably the biggest surprise of the year. I don't think anybody was thinking this game was going to be as good as it was. Especially not games journalists. So just, and you know, it also really kind of sticks in my craw, man, because they didn't nominate this for potential Game of the Year candidate. But they did add Shadow of the Erdtree, a fucking DLC. And don't get me wrong, you know I love Elden Ring. You know I love Shadow of the Erdtree. I got that shit day one. Had that shit pre-ordered, pre-downloaded. I played it. I beat it. I love it. It's a fucking DLC, though. It should not be eligible for Game of the Year. But what? Like, that is straight fucking bullshit. And they've never selected a DLC before. It's just... And on top of which, dude, Elden Ring won the Game Awards Game of the Year for 2022. So in a sense, Elden Ring already fucking won. So you're allowing a DLC for your game to compete in the full game category for a game that already won the fucking award 2 years ago? Fucking what? Like, it's so much bullshit. I'll write down what I've learned so far, maybe to help you somehow, and this helps you learn about the shit with them, the monsters. If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. It seems like they're attracted to light, louder sounds as well. If you want to survive, stay in the dark, stay quiet. Probably won't save you anyway. And yeah, that is true. Like, when enemies are nearby, they'll detect you for lights on. They won't detect you if your light's off and you're staying quiet, so as you sneak up on them. And they further reinforce that in this game because they've added positional damage. And not just like, you know, because now in the original game it was like the classic Resident Evil, you just lock on and fire. Now you can actually aim and shoot, so like they've added different body parts, like you can hit them in the knee to handicap them, shoot to get more damage from a headshot. But they've also added, you will do way more damage for if you hit them from the back. So if you hit them from behind with the melee attack, it will do like 3 times as much damage and knock them down. So it actually adds an element to stealth where not only can you manage being seen by turning off your light when they're close, but if you wait for the right opportunity, you can take them out much easier by hitting them in the back and knocking their ass down and then fucking slamming them. Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Which wasn't in the original game, and encourages you to wait for your moment. So, like, later on in the game, when you go to the hospital and you're fighting the nurses are really tough. They have a lot of health. Being able to knock them down and wail on them before they get up is a very viable strategy, especially if you play this game on the hardest difficulty, like I did, where a nurse can kill you in like 2 hits. You want to get the jump on them and not the other way around. They can be killed, just make sure they stay down. Yeah, sometimes they'll fuck with you and get back up. You'd be aware of that. This place, all it's ever brought me is pain and misery. Let me see. So, you know, also, and yeah, like I was saying to you before, I really disagree with Max and not liking Unreal 5. I think it's a great engine. This game is Unreal Engine 5 and looks fantastic. Has some of the best lighting I think I've ever seen. Obviously not in the misty streets, but I showed you later in the like sunlight coming through. It looks fantastic. Stalker's Unreal 5 looks great. Lords of the Fallen's Unreal 5 looks great. The Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is Unreal 5 and it looks great. Obviously it's not out yet, but all the gameplay we've seen looks dope. So, you know, and from what I've heard from developers, obviously I'm not like super experienced in game development, but from what I've heard from developers, Unreal 5 is also an easy engine to use. So, yeah. And also especially the open world areas. That was one of the Achilles heel of Unreal Engine 3 and 4, was it was a good engine graphically, but it sucked at rendering any kind of open areas. It really struggled. They had to make massive modifications to the engine for the Batman Arkham games, because all the Arkham games done by Rocksteady used Unreal Engine 3. When they did Arkham Knight, for example, they had to really overhaul the engine to handle that cityscape, because Unreal 4 and 3 and 4 weren't really good at rendering big open spaces. And obviously, as games tried to gravitate more towards open world, that became a problem. And so when they made Unreal Engine 5, they overhauled it to be much better at making open areas. And then fuck. Shit, I forgot the code. I have to Google it real quick. I found it before, now I can't remember. So, you know, that's good. You know, especially when it comes to LODs. That's one of the things Unreal 5 does really good. Is a lot of games, a lot of open world games, had to they would have to make 15 versions of the same object, you know, so they could have lower res versions from when you got farther away. So they basically had to make like all these assets over and over and over again, like so they could load in it better as you got closer and load it away as you got farther away to preserve the game with the draw distance. And Unreal Engine 5 has nanite. It basically does that automatically, so they don't have to make 50 million versions of the same object. And in open world games, there's a lot of that going on because all the vistas and shit. So just having that is awesome. Okay. And see, if you find the code and all that, you get a bunch of health stuff and a bunch of ammo that you wouldn't get ordinarily. So... This is everything. Yeah, you get 3 heals and 2 things of ammo. So it rewards you for going off the beaten path and working out the code. Which is great. This wasn't in the original game. They've greatly expanded the town exploration in this game. Like, this market was in the game, you just couldn't enter it. A bunch of the buildings in the remake that you couldn't enter before, you can now. And they put shit in there, so they greatly expanded it. And when they first made this game, they said that they were gonna make the town twice the size, and people were afraid that they were gonna make it stretched out. And when they played it, the town was the same size, it just has twice as many enterable locations. So they made it twice as dense, which was the right way to go. That man was here again. I told him he had been warned not to come here. He acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. Anyway, he got up and left. He didn't make any sort of fuss, but there's something about him that gives me the creeps. When I look at his face, it's like I'm staring at a mask, and there's something underneath waiting to get out. I don't want to be there when that happens. Now, I gotta go to the Texan Cafe real quick. There's an item in there. Oh, no, you don't. Get your ass back here. I saw him again, or at least I think so. He says he didn't, but I didn't know anymore. I'm tired. Couldn't find it. Doesn't matter. That scraping noise again. That person was clearly doing well. Mentally. Oh yeah, I meant to ask you, Alex. You know they brought the new Dragon Age show. It's out now. Dragon Ball Dama, however you fucking say it. I was gonna wonder if you tried watching that because it was the last stuff that Akira Toriyama worked on before he died. Yeah, but you, like, it's weird that you don't like Kid Goku, but you do like Dragon Ball GT? Or was it, you didn't like Dragon Ball GT? I thought you said you liked GT. So he doesn't say a kid the whole show? I thought he stayed Kid Goku the whole time. He's an adult! He's a kid! He's an adult! He's a kid! Huh. That's kind of weird. I don't really like his Super Saiyan 3. His hair is weird, and I don't like the fact that he doesn't have eyebrows. It fucks with me. Bit of a hot take, I guess you could say. But, my favorite Super Saiyan form from a pure design standpoint is probably Super Saiyan 4. I really like the fucking red hair look and how Goku is pissy when he does it. But I know a lot of people weren't too keen on that, and they basically retconned it. Yeah. Apartment 5 lets us key. Says there's a leak from upstairs. Gotta check it out. I also remember as a kid being super impressed with when Gohan and Trunks fused. I thought that was super cool. They went purple. Gotunks, I think they call it. I'm certain now it's coming from that apartment upstairs. I keep telling them, why won't they do something? It's unbearable. I can feel it seeping into my skin, pushing itself into my lungs. And then she came and washed it all away. It started to make sense again. It's this place. I can't fight it. Got to get my head straight. Quick, stop a text and then we're going. Yeah, and see, they'll have like all these one-off fucking sounds that you can hear only in specific places. Like here, you can actually hear a woman shuddering. There's not even anything here, but it's fucking super messed up. It's like, yeah, let's stick our hand in the gaping fucking hole in the wall. That'll be fine. Get up in there. I don't know what got into him. He just started smashing the thing. Had to throw him out. He ran off, said he'd fix everything. I gathered what I could, still haven't found one of the buttons. Had the record still lodged inside, but the other part's missing. Figure he must have taken it. Come to think of it, he did run towards Groovy. Anyway, maybe go check up on him, see if he's alright. He lives over at Saul Street, by the pharmacy apartment 9. Glue, baby! Alright, man.
awake. We spent the whole day there. Just the two of us staring at the water.
I'll be right back.